All right, so we have a special episode here at Gamer Tag Radio. This is their host, Danny Peña, and also joining me, the one and only Brittany. Should I call you blonde nerd or just Brittany still?
You literally can call me anything you want, Danny.
Oh,
I
there you
have
go.
no fucks to give on
All
this
right,
day.
I'll call you Paris Hater.
Yeah, that is my official legal name. That is what I'm going to get my name changed to.
That's the perfect name.
Who has good opinions.
Yes. Take that, Paris. Take that, Paris. How you been, Brittany? It's been a while.
It's been a minute. Yeah, I've been doing okay, man. Just keeping on. You know, life is busy. Life is a little crazy, but I wake up and I am happy to be in a world where we have Resident Evil and more Yakuza games. So
Ooh.
I can't complain. You know
I tell you this. I would love to have you on from Resident Evil in the future. That's next year, sometime next year.
Dude,
we gotta sit down and talk, because I am very excited. By the way, you know, last night I went to Screamfest.
Oh yeah, how was that?
No, it was cool. It was like, you know, for those that don't know, it's a horror film festival that they have here in Los Angeles. You know, I've never been there, but they invited me because have you seen the Hellraiser video game announcement?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
They showed me 30 minutes of that gameplay. Yo.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's it's really good. It's a single player game because you know, typically Saber worked on like Evil Dead and a couple other games like multiplayer, but this one is single player.
So give me the lowdown. Really, so it's a single player. What else? This
takes place 20 years after the movies from the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and this is guy, I don't want to say much, but him and this girl, you know, they're doing their thing. And
Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, Netflix and chilling. There's some blood involved there, some sacrifice there, because she got this cube and started messing with it, and that completely opened up a whole can of worms after that. But it's let me tell you, it's very, very bloody. There's puzzles here and there, not much. But it's very, very good. Like I'm very curious to learn more about the game because it was only 30 minutes. And they'll show you like the combat things that you do in the game. There's a couple of like mazes and you're trapped and you have to like leave an area where there's like a cult in there too. So it's good. I'm trying not to say much, but it is very dark. When I say dark, a lot of blood, a lot of skin,
not light
blood.
And dark necessarily, but like this is messed up.
Yeah, messed up dark. Like there was some moments I went, ew, like I went like that.
Even for you, huh?
Yeah, even and look, I love horror. I was like, ooh.
So very gory.
Very gory. Very.
Lots of decapitation. I'm assuming limbs flailing off everywhere.
Lots
sort
of. Let me open your whole back.
Oh, let me open that ribs up,
front,
girl. Yeah. Get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Okay,
so
survival horror, right? It's a survival horror game, not just like an action.
Survival horror, yeah, but like a very gory horror.
Nice.
Yeah, are you into that type of into that?
Yeah, you know, it's therapy lately, Danny. I think just kind of getting in there and just doing some ripping and tearing. You know, it just feels good right now.
All right, that's what you need, right? To release the stress.
It's therapeutic. You know, it's a lot more healthier than taking my aggressions out on other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So shout out to Sega. So a couple weeks back, I went to Sega's office and I got to play a couple games. Actually, it was like a lot of games for Tokyo Game Show, I believe. Yeah, it was Tokyo Game Show. And we got to play a couple Nintendo Switch 2 titles. And also, I went to another room. And this room, they had Virtual Fighter, like the new stuff in there. And then it was the new Yakuza, the one that was announced, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. So I recorded some footage. You know, I wanted Rhea and I to talk about that because I know you're very into Yakuza. You know the story. You know everything in there. First of all, you know, for someone that I'm still like into like the basic stuff. I like a Dragon. I'm very into that type of game.
Is that the most recent one you played? Yakuza Like a Dragon, or
the pirate one? The pirate one.
Oh, yeah. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. The Kingdom Mass Heart title.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. I did a lot of activities, the kart racing thing, and all that. So it was cool. It's cool. But now for those that have never played Kiwami 3, and now with this new title, Dark Ties, how this connected with both, and like, you know, what you could tell us about about those
Let's
games.
go on a journey, Danny Peña. Let's
Yes.
go on a journey together. Yeah, I loved talking with you a little bit about this because you're like, I'm so confused, and I understand why.
Hmm.
So, okay, let me get my 2 pages of notes here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the Kiwami games in general. So Kiwami 1 released in 2016, right? And that was a remake of the very first Yakuza game that came out in 2005. And with that, it had more in-depth story, upgraded combat. Obviously, the graphics were a lot better. And then they introduced even a new gameplay mechanic called Majima Everywhere. Now
Yeah.
that's relevant because in Kiwami 3, obviously, they're introducing Dark Ties. And then Kiwami 2 came out a little bit later. That was a remake of Yakuza 2 as well. And same sort of treatment. And now we're getting Kiwami 3. So it's always been the game. It's been the game that fans have wanted for a very, very long time because you obviously have Yakuza 0, which is on the Dragon engine. It still holds up to this day. You have Kiwami, Kiwami 2, and then you have Yakuza 3, which was originally, I think, a PS3 game or
Hmm.
PS3 or PS4 game. Very, very hard transition to go from those 3 games to 3. And so this has been the game that's needed the treatment for a long, long time. And now, obviously, with this one, we're getting the prettier graphics, we're getting content. Sorry, so the game was actually remastered. Let me go back. So Yakuza 3 had another remaster in 2019.
Hmm.
Okay. And with that, it had the remastered graphics. And with that, it had side stories that had been added. So it's confusing. But these are direct sequels of one another. And so Kiwami 3 is a direct continuation of. Is my thing still working? Is my camera working for
Oh,
you,
you're
Danny?
going great. You're doing
I'm
great.
doing great. Okay, I wanted to make sure because it was being kind of wonky on me, but we
Don't
got
worry
it
about
figured
it.
out. We're perfect. We're sailing pretty, ladies and gentlemen.
Still
Okay,
looking great, Britt.
wonderful, fantastic. Okay, so yes, we have Kiwami 3 coming next year. And so this is a direct continuation of Yakuza's story. It follows Kiryu, and he is just trying to leave the Yakuza life, Danny, as he always is trying to do. But fate is a cruel mistress. And it
Hmm.
turns out that he just wants to live his life of opening an orphanage in the beautiful sandy beaches of Okinawa. He gets there and turns out that the land he is on is the dispute of a military slash resort deal that is very, very shady. And they are trying to evict everybody. Turns out, Yakuza are involved because of course they are, because Kiryu just cannot escape that life. And on top of all of that, the Tojo clan, which is the clan that he is from, who
Hmm.
he has tried to separate himself from, is now having another who has the biggest dick contest. It's a big succession dispute, and who's going to be the next chairman, blah, blah, blah. So that is the premise of this game. Now, I don't want to talk too much about Mine, the character. Now, this is the character who is the star of Dark Ties. This is the new spin-off story. It is being touted as an actual standalone game akin to Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the Man Who Erased His Name, which I spent about, 30 hours in. So it's a whole ass thing. And this is incredibly exciting for lots of different reasons. Some of them, again, I don't want to go into because you really have to finish the story and see Mine's character arc from start to finish. But I will say he as a character is very unique. I don't think there's a lot of Yakuza characters that are written like he is.
Hmm.
And the fact that he plays such a integral role in the Tojo clan and with other people involved. In the original game, he doesn't have a lot of character development, right? He's just this guy and he has a lot of conviction in what he's doing and why he's doing it. And I think that's why people tend to gravitate towards him because people in power, if they believe it, sometimes they can make you believe it too. And just a very, very interesting character. So I'll stop there. Does that answer
Okay.
your question?
No, that's good enough. That's good. That's good. Now, I'll tell you this: do you see yourself playing Dark Ties first because it's both in the one game? Do you see yourself playing that? Because I know you already played Kwame 3 previously, but the Dark Ties is a brand new story.
Ooh,
So,
I haven't thought about that. I did see when you were doing your demo that you chose to do Mine's story first. Now, as far as I think I'm going to. And the reason I think I want to do his story first is
hmm.
because obviously I know the story of Yakuza 3 and I have a general idea. Again, so people who create this game, RGG Studio, have come out and said they're not going to reimagine main story beats with this, but they are going to add more context and add more scenes that, quote, add depth and emotion to the story, which is, I've seen already examples of that in the footage that you shared. So knowing that the main story of 3, aka Kiryu's story, is not going to change that much, I think I'm going to do Mine's first because I want the context. Because Mine's story, my understanding, happens before 3. And it's going to show the rise of Mine and how he got to be who he is and the struggles he went through. And more, I think what more of us, any of us want to know is why. We just want more of the why. We want the context, which is what it sounds like they're adding in this. So I think I'm going to go with his story first.
Now, I was curious to see what people had to say about the game, and look, the majority of people, of course, are excited, but there's going to be some that not happy that the changes of like certain characters, like their faces and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I get it when it's like a remake. Things has to change, so it could look more modern, and because remember this game came out what you said during the PS3, PS. Yeah, it's a
2009.
very long time ago, so of
Yeah.
course I got to make some changes. What are your thoughts about that? Like being that they had to make some changes like that for the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. And I don't think it's so much even a modernization reason why the game has been updated. So let's talk about it. So there are 3 main character recasts. And so a lot of the original voice actors from Yakuza 3 are coming back. Obviously, 3 of the main characters have been recast, and not only have their faces now been, their faces are going to replace the faces that we've known and loved. The voices are as well.
Mhm.
The one that first caused the most panties in a bundle was Rikia. So he is a beloved character that becomes very close to Kiryu in Yakuza 3. They start off with a rocky relationship, and in the end, it's one of the most memorable relationships in the entire series. It's something fans still talk about. It's something fans are still memed about. Fans still meme is what I'm trying to say. Uh,
Mhm.
and part of his appeal, Danny, the part of the reason why everyone loves him is obviously he has really great character growth and whatnot, but he looks so dorky. It's part of his charm. He just looks like he's trying to be this tough, rough and tough Yakuza guy, and he has a really bad haircut, and he's goofy. And now he's being replaced by Tokyo Vice star Sho Kazumatsu, and he looks cool. And that's the problem, is he just looks cool. So the original faces in Yakuza 3 were just made up. They weren't based off of anybody. And so part of the reason that folks are upset is because they fear that that RGG might be trying to cause or just garner interest based off of celebrity popularity. And in doing so, you are taking a face of the beloved character, which quite frankly makes him him in a lot of ways, and you're putting
Mhm.
this other face on there, which is not a bad face. It's not a dig at the actor, but it just looks so standard. It looks like one of the NPC thugs you'd find walking around. He just has the cool slicked back hair and the furrowed eyes, and you could tell me he was an NPC and I would believe you. So that's that's one of the casting that folks aren't super happy with. The other one is another character named Nakahara. I don't have too many feelings about that one. The other one, and I just learned this, and so I have to do my own research and dig into this, is there
Mhm.
is a character called Go Hamazaki, and I loved his face in the original one. He just looks badass and he looks mean, and he's in Yakuza 4, and he has a continued role in that game. And I loved the way he looks. I felt like it fit his character. He has now been replaced with, oh, I have his name on here. It doesn't matter. Oh,
Also celebrity or
he's a well-known actor in Japan, is my understanding. I can't remember his name. Kagawa, I believe, is his last name. But apparently, this guy has a sexual assault scandal,
oh
sexual harassment scandal with
yeah.
a hostess, and I just found this out when I was preparing to do this show, so I have not looked into it. So I have been
Mm.
seeing a lot of folks trying to boycott that. I don't know where that stands as of this moment. That is the recasting snafu that is going on right now that has garnered a lot of conversation.
And here's the thing, though. In that case, the last person you mentioned, like I think it's gonna be too late for Sega to actually make some changes. Like
Yeah,
the recording is done, everything is done.
everything's
So
done, and this character, continues, like I said, in Yakuza 4. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's
that's a
kind of
little
like
complicated.
that's part of the complicated, very, very complicated. And again, I need to look into it
Yeah.
a little bit more. But I would say, yeah, that's kind of like the biggest like scandal I've seen. The biggest concern I've seen is mostly related to the characters being recast, because again, like we've loved these characters for almost 20 years at this point. So to see them, and part of the excitement of a remake is you get to see these characters you've loved so much. It'd be like if you have Cloud in Final Fantasy VII Remake and he's like a brunette with long straight hair. You'd be like, what the hell's going on? This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah, yeah.
not my Cloud hashtag. But I don't think it's going to hinder the story all that much. But it was just a little disappointing.
But
But
you still see yourself actually want to play this game.
Oh, are you serious, Danny?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm
Are
just saying
you?
because people. Okay. Here's the thing. I notice people will say a lot of things like, "Oh, I'm mad because there's something that probably they don't like, they don't agree, or something," but they still will play the game on the low, not say anything. Like a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
will do
I
that.
mean, I know it. The loudest voices are, often the ones that are bitching about stuff. No,
Yeah. Or they're not even into it at all. They
Oh,
just
they're not. Oh,
complain to
dude,
complain.
that's the other thing. Yeah, they never even
Yeah.
played it before. They're like, "What's Yakuza? What's a Kiryu?" No, I
Mhm.
am incredibly excited for this remake. There's a lot of things to look forward to in this. Obviously, you got to assume they were able to use the Like a Dragon assets from Hawaii to help them build Okinawa. It kind of just happened perfectly because
Mhm.
Okinawa is this beautiful beachy town, really really chill vibes. So I think that probably helps a lot with the development of this game. And there's some new little features. So for example, when you're playing as Kiryu and you're at your orphanage trying to live your very best chill life possible, which is ripped away from you violently because Kiryu's poor fucking
Mm.
fate. You can bond with your children at the orphanage. You can do homey things like sew and cook and garden, and I love this for a lot of reasons, but mostly because I want to see that slice of life that Kiryu finally had for himself, as
Mhm.
short as it was, because that's all that man wanted to do. Danny, he just wanted to go garden and he wanted to cook.
Just want to
He
relax.
he just
Peace. You
wanted
just want peace.
he just wanted peace and he wanted to relax, but nay, not for him. So the other things that they're adding are Kiryu joins an all ladies biker gang.
Mhm.
Like what? What is that? How does that even happen? Apparently, you can have combat, so you can customize your team members, choose weapons, train allies, and race through enemy territory and strategic missions. I don't know what the hell that means, but leave it to RTGs. Probably like a dragon cart thing. But yeah, he joins an all ladies biker team, and that's brand new.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, and that's just the kind of random shenanigans. And I'm really excited when we play as Mine. Obviously, we'll be in Kamurocho more to see what that version of Kamurocho looks like, especially through his lens.
Mhm.
I did do a deep dive because that's just what I do with my life these days. As I watched your footage,
Oh, you
and
gotta
then I
mention which one. You gotta mention which one though.
okay, which one? So I watched your footage from Kiryu's story. So it was when
Okay.
he was chopping wood, living his best life. Haruka comes over and she's like, "Oh no, we're getting evicted." Um, I watched that scene side by side with the original because I wanted to see what had been changed. And a lot of the voiceover is still the same, but there are a few scenes that have been rewritten and revoiced that feel like they're more in line with the Kiryu that we know today. There's also a scene when Kiryu and Rikia are in Okinawa and they're getting ready to meet the boss for the first time. His name is slipping my name. But
Mhm.
that scene is completely different in how it unfolds. And that made me feel very warm and fuzzy because I think that the scene in the remake more accurately again depicts Kiryu as we know him in the later games, and it shows more of that soul and that personality and that heart that he has, whereas in 3 it wasn't as evident based off of the scene that we saw. So there are some new rewritten scenes, new voice acting done, and it looks great. Besides like the character casting thing, which is probably just a little disappointing, it's not a deal breaker obviously, and I got to look into the other thing, but
Mhm.
yeah, dude, it looks good. I'm
That's
so
good.
excited.
So when you say new scenes or something like that, where is it also the camera angles also?
So the camera angles are mostly shot for shot, but this new scene has been completely redone. So for example, in the original game, Riki and Kiru are going to meet the boss of the family that they're going to go meet. And they're walking through and Riki just kind of has these conversations with merchants and people working stalls. And through those conversations, you learn that the Yakuza in Okinawa, well, his crew anyway, are on good terms with the locals. And that
Mhm.
lets you know that, okay, so these guys probably are decent. Even though we don't agree with what they're doing, they're decent humans. That same scene is retold differently in the remake. That involves a whole brand new fight. One of Kiryu's typical monologues is given, and you can see the respect for him start to grow in Rikia's eyes. So they're different, but they tell the same story, if that makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, I know you also got to see video for Dark Ties. Because
Yeah.
I said, for those that don't know, I capture it, and I also wanted to show Brittany, like, hey, Brittany, I would love for us to have a conversation about this because I'm very curious to know your thoughts about this new story and the look and all that stuff. So, your thoughts after seeing the footage I sent you of Dark
Mine is
Ties.
so beautiful, Danny.
Oh, there you
Such
go.
a beautiful man. So the Mine we know from Yakuza 3 has
Hmm.
his fancy slicked back hair, and you just hear about his past in his scenes where he talks about it. In Kiwami, in the remake, we get a glance of him and we get to play as him before he actually joins the clan, the Tojo. And so what that means is we see him sitting in Cafe Alps. He's talking with a private investigator because he witnesses something that has him very intrigued. And what that is he saw some of Daigo, who is the chairman or the soon to be chairman for the Tojo clan, some men sacrifice themselves for him. And
Hmm.
he's like, whoa, because he just got royally screwed over out of his company. He doesn't trust people. He doesn't like people. But then he sees these people giving their life for another man. And he's like, what's going on? Like, you telling me that people actually can love someone so much that they will sacrifice their life for them. And he hyper focuses on it. And somehow through that has him joining the Tojo clan or trying to get into the Tojo clan.
Hmm.
And we get to see Kanda, who plays a very big role in Mine's story. And my biggest takeaway from all of this is, again, like I mentioned earlier, the character development we're going to see from these characters, I think, is going to be the most exciting part for me anyway. I love
Hmm.
knowing why a character is the way they are. What are their motivations? What did they go through? And Kanda is the bald dude all tatted up. He comes out of prison and his little goons are there. And he is a bad man, Danny. A
Yeah,
very
he
bad.
is. He
Yeah,
is. He very
he's.
his attitude is a pain in the butt, but yeah. I noticed
He,
that. I noticed when he got out, he was just annoying the whole time.
Oh yeah, and he's the
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, he's just a bad guy. He talks about women terribly. He actually tries to assault one in the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think in the original, he was a character that you kind of love to hate, and even though some folks think he was a little shallow, he was written more shallow. I think he is an accurate representation of what the Tojo clan is at that moment. Because in 3, it's struggling. It's on the struggle bus, and you only have power hungry douchebags like Kanda who are somehow being looked at as a person of power and authority when that's really not who it should be, right? It should be someone more like Kiru. So I'm excited to see Kanda more as much as I despise the man. I hate him so much, but I think he's a well written guy. Now, Mine actually is the one I'm most excited about because he is actually funny. There's a lot of fan speculation, again, since 2009 about Mine and his relationship with certain characters. And is he just an
Hmm.
evil Kiru? You don't know. He's a funny dude, and you would never know it. He has a dry sense of humor. He makes funny quips and comments all to himself throughout the demo that you had. I was like, I never knew this guy was so funny. He was making me laugh. So it's little things like that that I'm most excited about. He does have a combat style that's speedier than Kiryu, who fights more like a brick shit house. He does have this new thing called Dark Awakening. So he has these hearts underneath his health bar, and as you punch people, it fills up, and then he kind of goes Super Saiyan, right?
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
he gets this little animation, and then he gets stronger, and then you can fight him that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what else Mine's story has other than just, a story, if that makes sense. I hope he has some side stuff. I haven't seen if he does have his own side stories. If he has other activities he can do, I know he can do. I think it was a photo thing. I know he can do karaoke. But what else? Like how deep into his brain can we get, Danny? That's what I want
Yeah.
to know.
Now I was gonna ask you the timeline of this. Like, how far between from Kwame 3 and this story? Is it like same timeline, before, after?
So Kiwami 3, so we're talking about Mine's story, Dark Ties. So
Dark
this
Ties, yeah.
happened. Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So this happens before Yakuza 3. So this tells the how Mine went from businessman kicked out of his own business to the sole financial provider of the Tojo clan. And this tells how he got to that. In the
Hmm.
original game, all we really got were, his like monologues and his story and like the things he would say in his cutscenes, but we never actually got to see it intimately. Like we're going to be able to do that here. Yakuza 3 in general, it starts from 2007 and I think it skips ahead to 2009. But that was just Kiru's story. Now I believe Mine's story will also start in 2007 as well. But
Interesting.
oh yeah,
Interesting.
it,
Good.
it
Good
gets
to
in the
know.
weeds, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
No, it's good. We only have a couple minutes. Gotta have things
Yeah.
to do in
Yeah, yeah.
in a few minutes. But how happy are you with everything that has been going on with Sega? 'Cause they've been, I know a couple years back they announced the return of a lot of old IPs, and they've been strong with with like Persona, Yakuza.
Mm.
I know there's Atlas, but anyways, there's been just so many great games. Even recently, Shinobi. I feel like that's one of my favorite games that I played this year. One of there's so many, but it was really really good. Like I think it feels like the old Sega in my opinion.
I love it so much, and it does really make me happy to see them bringing back some of their legacy IP. Crazy Taxi, and I think what they've done with Shinobi is really cool. I need to play it. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. But,
Hmm.
if I'm just being so for real right now, as long as, like you said, you mentioned Atlas, as long as we keep getting Metaphor slash Persona and the love that Yakuza Like a Dragon is getting, I am so on board with it. I know there has been talk of fatigue with the series, but personally, it's just my favorite, and I cannot get fatigued with it. I just hope they keep finding success with what they're doing. It feels like
Hmm.
I just kind of started getting into the series right when it really started picking up, right when it kind of got released on Game Pass into
Hmm.
2020. I think that's when that was. And ever since then, it's just more and more people are hopping on board. And I just think it's really good for the industry. I think it's really good for people to try games that aren't your traditional action adventure. And I think Yakuza is definitely not traditional action adventure. They blend like JRPG with I love how cuckoo bananas they are with everything. And I like that they're having success with it. That makes me very, very happy. So no complaints on my end is what I'm getting at. And I know it's important for teams to try new things. So I know like RGG is working on Project Century, which has another name now. But yeah, so it just makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, I think I'm also excited. Like I'm a huge Sega fan since the '80s and '90s, and I'm excited to see what's new. Like I know we got to see gameplay clips of Streets of Rage 4, Ultra Beast, Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited, especially to play Jet Set Radio because it's been over 2 decades now. You
Damn,
know,
it's
the
been
la-
that long?
yeah, I mean the last Jet Set Radio was Jet Set Radio Future for the original Xbox. I know they
Holy.
had like remake and not a remake. They re-released the old game again, but that's about it. There was songs mixing and everything, because it's licensed. But yeah, so I'm very excited to play Jet Set Radio. Actually, a couple months ago they had the 25th anniversary here in LA. So there was so many fans that still excited for that game, and
Hell
the
yeah.
original creators they were there too.
Wow.
They did a Q&A. I got to meet them. I even thanked them like, "Hey, you're the reason is because I'm here doing the radio
Mhm.
thing was because of Jet Set Radio, So that was my
Well, let
first
me
first
ask you that
game.
same question. What about you? What do you think about what Sega's doing recently?
It feels like the old Sega.
Yeah.
It feels like the old Sega. Yeah, I know that, they're doing pretty good with Sonic, and there was a lot of Sonic throughout the years.
Yeah.
But there was like a pause from Sega for a very long time where they were just releasing the same thing, and also they were releasing games on mobile.
Mhm.
But this feeling feels like the early days of Sega, like the Sega Genesis days. So like I can't wait to play all these titles, and I think they're in the right path of like releasing legacy IPs, but still continue working on new stuff. Like Metaphor, Persona's been a hit, Yakuza's been years, but I would like to see more new stuff from them. But feels
Exactly.
good. It feels
Does
really
feel
really
good.
good.
Hell
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Britt? Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, man. That felt lovely. I haven't been able to hop on a show and talk about Yakuza Like a Dragon since the pirate game, since my Majima game.
Yeah.
Pirate
All
Yakuza
right.
in Hawaii. It's been
Yeah.
forever, Danny. It's been forever. I
Hey,
feel
you're more than welcome to come, and we could do breakdown whatever you want from these games. Or any other game. I know in the future Resident Evil. I would love to for you to come over here because
yeah.
yeah, I know you're a huge fan, and
Oh
I'll tell
yeah.
Paris not to join
No, please
so you
have
could.
him on.
Oh
Please.
yeah, okay.
Oh,
I'll tell him.
absolutely.
I'll tell him.
Oh yeah. Little
Yeah.
popcorn gallery. It'd be nice to have.
By the way, any response from this last video he recorded at Obsidian? A message to
Oh,
you?
I'm sorry. Lions do not concern themselves with the opinions of sheep, Danny.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, Paris.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Brittany, for those that would like to continue following you, I know you're going to be posting more about Yakuza in the future on your socials, or even I know you have a YouTube channel too. Anything you would like to promote?
No, right now, I am just doing life. But when I do have fun things to update y'all on, you can find me on X. That is at Blonde Nerd, or Instagram. That's mostly where I'm posting these days. And if I do start posting anywhere else, you will be able to find the links there. Because that was my first go-to, Danny. Or
Awesome.
I'm on Blue Sky too. I like that place. That's fun.
You're everywhere.
I
Your
like
YouTube channel here and there. You've been posting stuff.
a little bit
YouTube
here and
channel.
there. It's
Yeah.
been a minute, but more of like the quick, silly, like few minute videos I'll post.
Yeah.
Extra other
It's
places.
all good. So make sure to follow Britt. Shout out to there, and also thanks to Sega for inviting me and give me the opportunity to record some footage, man. So it was the perfect footage to show Britt for us to talk
Oh,
about this.
I
So
literally, Danny, I popped a bag of popcorn when I was watching
oh
it.
oh, so
I
you were
took
taking notes.
2 pages of notes it felt so good. So
Good,
thank you.
good. No problem. All right, everyone. Until next time, we're out. Bye.
Bye.